Do you or have you ever felt as though you're just stuck? If you answer no to that question, I'm gonna call BS on you, because everybody from one time or another has felt stuck, like their mental or emotional vehicle has a flat tire. You just can't seem to get out of that rut. Well, there are several ways for you to do it, and that is the topic of this week's YouTube episode.
Guild coaching, more success, less stress.
The first thing people seem to do when they realize that they're stuck, when they're feeling like nothing is going their way or they're not able to propel themselves forward in either their personal life or their career, is look around and find all the little things that are causing anxiety, stress, or any negative feelings in them, and then they try to fix it. They hop into action and try to find solutions right then. Well, that's the worst thing that you can do, because when you are feeling stuck, that's indicating an internal problem. So all of those solutions might buy you a little time, but they're not going to solve the problem for you. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. It's not going to solve your problem. You're going to bleed out. So instead of jumping into action, today I'm going to tell you what you do need to do to get unstuck. The reason that you're stuck is a deep issue that is a neurophysiological pattern that leads to mental gridlock. Your subconscious brain creates biases that literally keep you immobilized. They slow down your thought processes, they wrap everything that you're thinking about in a blanket of fear. But the thing that you need to understand is that when it comes to getting unstuck, you already have the keys to unlock that door. There are certain things that happen in our lives that cause our subconscious mind to retain and hold on to a pattern of rigidity, a pattern of fear that keep us immobilized. Sometimes we are afraid to leave our home or talk to people or experience different things. I talk to people all the time who are unhappy in their jobs, but they're afraid to branch out and see what else that it is that they can do out there. And the thing that's keeping them in that pattern is something that's happened in their past life that is telling them a truth of today that's not actually true. So they're living yesterday's truths in their present. Or it's that their life has been so comfortable, they're so accustomed to being at a certain level that their subconscious mind throws up signals to them to stop them from moving outside of that comfort zone. If you've attended any of my classes or you've been listening to me for a while, you know that I call the comfort zone the failure zone, because the only place that you can have real wins is outside of that comfort zone. But the way to get outside that comfort zone is to break through that little piece of fear that's keeping you in there. The way to break through your fear is to really dive deep inside your body. And I really mean deep inside your body, like something that makes your heart start to race or a tight feeling in your chest when a certain thing happens. You have to start paying attention to what is going on in your body. What signals is your body sending you? That's part one. Become very in tune with what is happening in your body. When you have that tightness in your chest, or the lump in your throat, or tightness at the back of your head, or throbbing there, or acute headaches that just happen when something bad happens, something that's similar to something in the past that's also caused that specific physical reaction in your body, or a weird feeling in your belly, something like that. When you feel those things, you need to dive in and really sit in that feeling for a while, even though it's uncomfortable. I know nobody likes to sit in uncomfortable feelings, but when you dive deep inside your body and you get to know these cues, you start to unlock where they have come from. If you can unlock where they've come from, then that's the first step in unpacking this fear. Now, the biggest mistake that some people make is trying to take a shortcut. So what does that look like? Well, it's what I mentioned at the very beginning. You look for solutions. I once had a client who had extreme anxiety, and the moment that she would wake up in the morning, she would begin to worry and play the what if game about her day. You know, what if this happens? What if that happens? And so She would launch into action and really go at a manic pace to get all of the things that she was worried about out of the way. She was exhausting herself. She wasn't sleeping right. She was not being as productive as she could have been at work because of this manic behavior that she was practicing. And it was all because she was just looking at the symptoms. She wasn't looking inside of her to figure out what was causing this extreme anxiety. Anxiety is just a shortcut word to describe something uncomfortable that's happening within us. So if we can really dive into that and figure out what brand of anxiety you're experiencing at the time, then that's where we can unpack it and you can get past that fear. Are you hearing that word fear several times here? It's because that is really the underlying cause of all people who are stuck. It doesn't matter where in their life they're stuck, fear is behind it. When you have that feeling of being stuck, it's also an indication of disappointment. And that just means that you have expectations that aren't being met. It could be expectations of yourself or expectations of a situation or of someone else. But those expectations that you've created aren't based in reality. So therefore, they cannot be met. So finally today, you need to really do a deep dive into what your expectations are. Are you asking too much of people? Are you asking too much of yourself? Oftentimes the answer to that one is yes. Most of us are very, very hard on ourselves. Are you asking too much out of a certain situation? Really review this and be honest. It helps me in these types of situations to journal things, because when you take the time to slow down and write them, I'm always telling you there's power in the pen. Take the time, slow down, write out these things. It really helps you to explore them. You know, write down, am I asking too much of my husband? You know, what does he do? He works, he does this, he does this, he does this. What am I expecting him to do? Am I expecting him to carry too much of the load around the house? Am I expecting him to carry too much of the load with the children? Ask yourselves what you are asking other people to do mentally, maybe not really, but what are you asking of other people, or what are you expecting of other people? I coached someone last week who was very, very angry that her husband was not putting things away in the house. He is a very, very busy attorney, works all the time, probably 80 or 90 hours a week, real estate attorney, flies all over the country, deals all over the place, works a lot. And they have a newborn. She stays home with the newborn. But when he is in town and he does come home for dinner, they have dinner, and she gets upset because he doesn't clean up all the stuff from dinner. Well, she never says anything to him about it. And so he'll leave his things there, and then she'll just leave them there, and then she stews about it. She's having expectations of his behavior that aren't going to be met unless there's some sort of an agreement. So where are you doing this to someone else or yourself in your life? That causes a lot of stress and anxiety. And if you can untrain or retrain yourself in that area, you will start to get unstuck. Your stress and anxiety will go down. And that is why we're here. Don't forget, before you leave, click the subscribe button and that little bell to let you know the next time that we post a video to help you live a life with more success and lower stress. Bye-bye.